Hi, everyone, and welcome to match 4. Sorry for the delay. It's kind of busy at the end of the semester with marking and grading and things like that. So you're in for a very interesting match, some good plays, but also some big mistakes. So in this first game, we get to see the strategy connected with a 6-4 opening roll played to make the 2-point. And as I mentioned in the video, this is becoming quite common. And so it's important that you become familiar with some of the different strategies involved here. And both players make kind of some mistakes related to this. So it's good you can learn from it, yeah? Some exciting an exciting end to the game as well. So hope you enjoy it, hope you learn from it, and leave some comments or suggestions. Yeah. Thanks very much. Okay, so let's start match 4, game 1. Black gets the opening roll of 6-4 and makes the 2-point. Okay, and so in terms of game plan here, when you make the 2-point, you're obviously not looking at a prime, okay, because the the 8-point, okay, and the 2-point don't really go together in terms of making a prime, okay? So in making the 2-point, either you or your opponent, you're looking at more like racing and possibly attacking, okay? And so for that reason, white doesn't usually split the back checkers after black makes the 2-point like this, okay? An interesting thing to consider here as well is if you look at the various options, okay, so you've got 3 decent options for 6-4, and part of it, of course, is score based, okay? If you're far ahead in the score, then you generally want to run, okay? And if you're behind, then you generally want a complicated game, either like this or like this, okay? And then another consideration is the strength of your opponent, if you're aware, okay? And if your opponent is much stronger than you, then you generally want to have a simpler game and run with 6-4. If your opponent is weaker than you, then you want a more complicated game. So you can either split and bring a checker down, or again, make the 2-point, okay? The advantage of making the 2-point is a lot of players don't know the opening theory behind this, yeah? And they're more liable to make mistakes. So that's something to consider. So black makes the 2-point, and white makes the bar point, and black makes the 5-point. A good start for him, okay? White makes the 4-point. Uncomfortable roll here, 6-5, but yeah, of course, there's not much you can do, so you slot the bar point, yeah, and remake the 8-point. White misses the shot, yeah, and yeah, making the 3-point is pretty clear here. This is interesting because it is part of white's game plan. When your opponent makes the 2-point, okay, then if possible, you do want to try to prime your opponent, because your opponent's not likely to easily prime you, okay? So a priming kind of game plan is best against making this kind of this point here. But here, just the value of the 3-point is pretty strong, yeah? Having that extra board point, and you do have kind of a starting a prime, kind of like a broken prime, it's true, but still, it's a reasonable blocking position, yeah? Okay. So this is interesting, and we've talked about automatic moves, right, in previous matches. And this looks like an automatic move, doesn't it? You just want to, safety that checker and kind of block sixes for white, so that it's more difficult for him to escape the back checkers. But the problem, of course, is that black has back checkers as well that need escaping, okay? And black is kind of running out of time here, in terms of, if these checkers don't get moving pretty quickly, then these points are going to start falling apart and white will have clear command of the outfield, okay? Avoid automatic moves, because it's definitely worth thinking about this one, okay? It's not a big mistake, but getting those back checkers moving and then just playing 7-5, okay? One of the ideas too is that if white is able to, roll a 6 and jump out, then black will have some chances of attacking either in the outfield or attacking the remaining white checker if needs be, okay? So that's another kind of idea. This, again, doesn't, black's move of making the bar point is more of a priming game plan, right? Which isn't really the best game plan in this kind of situation. White has a much better chance of winning a prime versus prime battle. But still, it's pretty close, isn't it? Yeah. And white does make a mistake, okay, and sees, oh, okay, I have a chance for freedom, and seizes it and jumps out. Whereas white should, again, just aim for the priming battle and bring 2 down, so that aiming at this 5 point, right, which is the key point in the position to stop the back checkers from jumping out. Thinking about game plans, white should just think, okay, just leave them there and try to prime black, okay? Because in the prime versus prime battle here, white definitely has the advantage. Okay, and as I mentioned, even though black cannot hit in the outfield, the escaped checker, he does have the chance to attack the straggler, okay? And also, he gets to play with the 1, right? And split his back checkers. So not too bad a roll. White comes in and safeties one of his checkers. And black hits. And yeah, I mean, this YouTube channel is called Fearless Backgammon, and this is a pretty fearless play, isn't it? And there's a rationale for attacking that lone back checker. It's not really a big mistake here, right? It is close, but it does leave a lot of blots around. We're looking at 5 blots on the board, right? And that's a bit many, especially with direct shots from the bar for white. So the best move is to jump into the outfield with 1 checker. And it goes back to this theme we've come across again and again, is kind of outfield control, right? White would love to get that back checker like up over the 4 prime and try to escape it. And so by black coming out, he gives a little more control for black, the possibility of hitting the checker and sending it back, okay? And yeah, in general, again, this is, in terms of black's game plan, it is more of a running plan, right? And there's also the advantage that white has quite a large stack of checkers here, right? And so there aren't that many shots really to hit him. So 5-4 is a bold move, not a blunder, but running out really fits the game plan better. Okay, hitting is a bit risky, as we'll see. Okay, white comes in and hits and correctly goes for a double hit. And in this case, instead of the 6-1, which is obviously not as valuable a point, the 1 point, white goes all out and breaks the 7 point, the bar point, and hits on the 2. Okay, and so with this is especially recommended because black just has so many blots. Okay, that if black is unable to roll well from the bar, then white is going to be able to pick up some more. Black is happy to enter 2 checkers, even if he doesn't hit back, and he does get a defensive anchor at least on the 1 point. Okay, and yeah, this is interesting. Here we have a cube, and thinking back, I mean, it seems, yeah, like a strong position. I suppose one of the things that stopped me from cubing here was the stack on the midpoint and how inflexible it is, and white still has to get a checker out here. It just didn't seem like all that strong a position, but when you look at it now again, it's just too many blots. And yes, black has an anchor, but it's not a strong anchor. There are plenty of threats. I suppose large numbers don't play quite as well, right? Small numbers are great, like 3, a 2, 1, okay? 5 covers, but yeah. So it is interesting. I suppose I do see that there are just so many threats that you don't have to think so positionally here when you're considering the double. But I suppose I was thinking a little too positionally. Okay, and white does roll a double 1, which is fantastic. Makes the 5 point and puts a couple checkers up on the bar. And black dances. So yeah, the gammon chances are very strong here, right? That was, again, the other reason for sending the cube over. I should go back and just mention that it is a take, right, for black, because of these positional deficiencies and because he has an anchor, and not all the numbers play so well, like 4s and things like that. So it is a take. But black takes, and now he's going to get punished for a little while here. Okay, so double 1s can enter, another set of double 1s. White goes to, give a direct cover, but maybe not so necessary, right? Just diversify, bring a couple checkers down. But not a big issue. Okay, black enters 1 checker. White can't cover, but he does send the other checker back. Okay, hits and brings another checker down. Black can't enter, and double 6 is a brutal roll. Okay, so everything's covered, the 6 prime's made. Not that you really need a 6 prime at this point, but so black is in serious trouble of being gammoned. It's over 60% gammons at this point. Okay, black enters 1 checker, and the next few moves for white are not so vital. It's just a lot of moves are pretty close, so I won't spend much time on it. 6-2, put a checker on the 5 point. Can't move. 6-2 again. This is interesting. Just keep this in mind that it's very common to kind of kill 6s, okay, by putting a 3rd checker on the bar point. And so that if you do roll 6, you don't have to play it. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The idea is hopefully black will enter. You'll be able to maintain a 6 prime longer, and there's a better chance of black crunching his home board position by doing that. Okay. So can't enter for 1. White just decides to risk the 1-6 just to you know, have a good bear off position. Okay. Keep in mind that though it looks pretty dire for black, he does have a pretty good timed ace point game here, ace point anchor game, and it is, you know, probable that white will leave at least 1 shot. So it is pretty important to have a flexible bear off position. Okay, it's worth a little risk. And of course, if black does roll 1-6, it's not the end of the world. Black's position, home board position, is not so strong, and he's got all these other checkers he's got to get out. So there's very little chance of losing. Okay, black can't enter. 5-2, first checker off for white. Can't enter. Black takes off a checker. 5-3, yeah, pretty straightforward. 2-1. Yeah, the gammon is pretty much assured, so you better just clear from the rear, as they say. Okay. Notice 6-5s are bad anyways, so you might as well just clear the 6 point, and then 6-5 is the only bad roll. Yeah. Okay, black comes in, so white 5-1 looks okay. Yeah, pretty straightforward. 4-3 again. You know, leaving an even number of checkers on the last 2 points. Not paramount, but if you can do it, great. 6-1. 2-2 looks great. Okay. Looks like it's going to be very easy to clear these points. 6-2. Double ones, not so happy about this. How many double ones has white rolled in this game? Too much of a good thing, I guess. And yeah, white would prefer to take a lot more checkers off, because now white, you know, will probably roll a 1 at some point and give black a shot, you know, and he wants to take a lot of checkers off before he gives black a shot. But what can you do? Double 4s, yeah, better to make the 3 point, right? You know, just prepare your home board. You're not going to really save the gammon at this point, so no need to think about that by, you know, playing like to the 6 point and stuff like that. It's much more important to make a strong home board. And white leaves a shot almost immediately. Okay, 5-2 comes off. Black misses. But this does help somewhat in trying to save the gammon. Yeah. It's still quite high though. Double 5s looks pretty strong. That kind of helps in terms of you know, getting a lot of checkers off, just in case white still leaves a shot by rolling a 1. Black correctly slots the 3 points, and white rolls the 1. Okay, and black hits the 1 and covers and completes the 6 prime. Wow. Luckily, white has taken off a lot of checkers. So the only problem, of course, is that white is a bit worried of having another checker hit. Okay, and there's a possibility of having to, you know, getting hit and then hitting back, and black has a lot of recirculation, strategies here. So yeah, white doesn't want to have a second checker sent back. Okay, can't enter. 2-1. Now this is interesting. It's so important for black to get this second checker that he actually should forfeit the 6 prime and leave 2 blots in his home board. Really interesting, right? And something to think about. The idea is that there's just no way, you're really very small chance you're going to win this if you don't get that second checker, so you might as well risk a little. And yes, of course, you might get gammon, but it does seem like it's worth the risk to try to win this game. Interesting. Okay, in with the 1. 6-5. So notice that black doesn't hit here because black wants white to roll a 1, okay? And if black hits on the 1 point, something like this, right? Then a roll of 1, doesn't force white to open up to put another blot on the board, okay? So that's why black doesn't hit immediately. White does roll a 1, but thankfully it's a double 1, and this pretty much seals the deal in terms of winning the game. White just has so many checkers off. Okay, black closes his board. White can't come in. Black takes off a checker, and then white just says, okay, let's double this, since my winning chances are so high, and obviously I'm not going to win a gammon anymore. So now what's a bit surprising to me is that this is actually a take for black. I thought that with 11 checkers off, black would have to pass this, but it looks like it says almost 24% winning chances here, and I guess that's enough. I would have thought this was a pass, but XG knows best. It's close, but black takes. White can't get in, and black's position wasn't the best one in terms of bearing off. But he's right to rip off 2 checkers here. White can't get in, and this is less than ideal. Of course, black would like to take 2 checkers off if possible, but he can only take off 1. Okay. And white enters. Doesn't hit, but at least he enters. That should be good enough to win. And now it's just a simple race. 6-1 is okay. 4-2 is not ideal, but still should be good enough to win. 3-2. Luckily, black's not rolling any doubles. 3-2, and there's a double, but it's too late, and white wins the game. Okay, and yeah, both players played quite decently. And so it looks like we have a good match ahead of us. So here we have a fairly instructive game in terms of one of the players making the 2-point early in the home board, and thinking about the game plans related to that, and in general thinking about whether your general game plan should be more of a running game, an attacking game, or a priming game. Those kind of 3 main game plans. With the 2-point main, you generally want to run and look out for chances of attacking. Okay, and if your opponent makes the 2-point, then you generally want to try to counter to prime his back checkers if at all possible. Okay, thanks. Hope you learned something from that, and leave any comments or suggestions below the video. Hope to see you for match 4 game 2.